What's up, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Overwatch and 5v5 versus 6v6, where we came from, where we are now, and where we're going. Where we came from was a world in which Overwatch was 6v6, originally 6v6 open queue, and then we progressed into role queue because people were griefing based on not being able to play the role and the character that they want, based around this perceived notion that 222 was the most optimal team comp. Okay, it wasn't forced on us at first. Okay, 222 was built by the players, the player base. They see the pros play it. That's just in general like how the game is like quote unquote supposed to be played, and that was the most successful team comp. Okay, and so Overwatch went ahead and just designated, hey, we'll give you all roles. That way everybody can pick the role that they want and everybody's happy. All right. Now, what they didn't foresee was queue times becoming a problem. Okay. So this is where a lot of confusion happens. Okay. Everybody says, oh, 6v6 doesn't work because tank queue times or tanks, this and that. It has nothing to do with the tanks, y'all. Has nothing to do with the tanks. Okay. And everything to do with the DPS. The reason we went to 5v5 in Overwatch 2 is because DPS queue times were too high. They were reaching 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, probably much higher too, I'm sure, in some cases. Now, what they did was, hey, logically, all right, we have enough tanks, but if my DPS queue times are twice the queue time of a tank, if we just take one tank out, we can effectively half our DPS queue times. You know what I mean? We can cut them in half. Basically, we create two games instead of one. We can move the tanks, we can split the tanks, and therefore, by virtue of splitting the tanks, we split DPS as well. Okay, so now more people in the queue get into the games that they want to be in. All right, now this opens a whole can of worms. Okay, now the tank synergy in Overwatch between the main tank and an off tank, or how the tanks work together, is one of a kind, and it truly was what made Overwatch so special. And when we went to 5v5, we lost that. We lost that, and it's a big loss, to be honest. Basically, we took the two tanks, we combined them, and made a super tank, a bullet sponge, something that doesn't require like too much skill to play. You just stand there, okay? And that's, well, it does take skill, but everybody on the team just wants you to stand there. All right, just go stand there, okay? But not only did this lower the bar for tanks, in my opinion, it also lowered the bar for other roles as well. Okay, now DPS can just go and do what they want. They don't have the pressure of an off tank from an enemy team. You know what I mean? And now supports, they have more to their kit. They could just be DPS. They don't have to necessarily heal the tank the whole time. You know what I mean? So they start to lose what makes the role the role. All right, what makes a support a support? Their ability to support the team. Too often am I seeing in 5v5 supports not supporting the team. They just want a DPS. You got Kiriko and Mizuki, and they just want a DPS. They're not supporting the team. Okay. It happens. Trust me, it happens. I know not every scenario it happens. Okay. But there's this push now for healers, for support to just be like, I'm a DPS support. What? No, you're a support. You're a healer first. Okay. You have the ability to heal. That's what you do for the team. Okay. That's your role, your support. Okay. You do DPS second. Okay. Use your DPS in a defensive manner. Okay. So if you get targeted, you can bounce out. All right. But anyways, so now we're in a 5v5 meta where everything just feels weird. Okay. And if you're like me and you were around for the entirety of Overwatch 1 and then was just thrust into this 5v5 and Overwatch 2, the game immediately felt weird. It felt weird and it felt off. There's nothing right about this 5v5. Okay. There's nothing good about it. All right. The only thing that comes of it is, oh, DPS. Now everybody can just play DPS, and queue times are generally mid to low. All right. But now tank is the worst role to play in the game. DPS feels weird, and you can't take, a hog down because now hog has to be overtuned. And like these various tanks are super overtuned for the 5v5 role. Now, what is happening now is we are coming full circle. Okay. And now this is where we're going. All right. We are going to a 6v6. It's going to happen because everybody knows DPS queue times are creeping up. Okay. And now what's the number one thing Overwatch and Blizzard wants you to do? They want you to be in the game. Okay. When queue times go up, people don't play the game. You know what I mean? If I can't hop in a game within a minute, I don't want to play Overwatch. I don't want to sit in queue times. Okay. If I'm going to play for 2 hours, I don't want to sit in a queue for 25, 30 minutes of that. You know what I mean? That's just not feasible. That means Overwatch is going to lose money. Okay. So, where we're going to is a 6v6, but we're going to go to that hybrid mode that they tested in quick play. Okay. It's going to be the 2-2-2 or 1-3-2 sort of comp. You know what I mean? So, and this, where, in my opinion, is where Overwatch and Blizzard is absolutely genius. I mean, this is absolutely genius. Okay. They know that we can't go to 100% open queue. That would actually solve queue times in an instant. That would solve queue times. Okay. And then we'll just let the players figure it out. Okay. But we got too many people with big feelings, and, they don't want that. All right. Because they can't play the one hero that they know how to play. All right. We're not going to go that route. I don't think we're going that route. Okay. But we are going the 6v6 route, and we are going to go to the what I call a pseudo open queue, where tank and DPS, there is one slot there for them to flex. Okay. So now every single time that game queues up, there's going to be one person that queues up for that tank or flex role. You know what I mean? So when DPS queue times are high, potentially we have more 1-3-2 comps. Okay. When DPS queue times are mid, potentially we'll have more 2-2-2 comps. You know what I mean? You see where I'm going with this? Absolutely genius by Blizzard. Okay. And everybody's happy at the end of the day. Okay. Because more often than not, and y'all can back me up on this, but there are a lot of tanks who play DPS and a lot of DPS that play tanks. But support, you're kind of like, most supports just play support. Okay. I already know there's a lot of people that play all the roles, okay, or play vice versa. We're gonna have exceptions, right? But supports, they love their support. Okay. They like to one trick their supports. Okay. Let's just be honest. Okay. And so support, I do see a problem where supports will have that too. But high queue times, but we are going to the 6v6. It is going to fix everything. I promise you it's going to fix everything. I really appreciate y'all stopping in for the video. Like, subscribe. We'll catch you guys on stream on all platforms. We'll see you. Peace.